For this week's technique lesson, we're going to look at an alignment and closed slur exercise. So in this exercise, we used fixed fingers. So we placed 2 fingers on the guitar, and then we used the free fingers to do the slurring for us, the ascending and descending slurs, or in guitar lingo, hammer-ons and pull-offs. So what I'll do is I'll show you the exercises, and then we can talk about some of the technique involved and how to approach the exercise in a way that will benefit your technique in the long run. These exercises come from my technique book. There's a link for that underneath the video, but follow the lesson for free. You might have these exercises in other books as well, but you can also just follow the video lesson and pick up the exercise and the tips in that way. So let me go through the exercise first and show it to you, and then we'll talk about the benefits of doing this and why we're doing these kind of fixed fingered slur exercises. So for the first, there's going to be about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different versions of this exercise. So let's just go through that quickly. So the first exercise, fix your 2nd and 3rd finger on the 3rd string. And then we're going to use 1 and 4 to slur. So we're going to do a hammer-on and then a pull-off. And then we'll repeat it. So fixed fingers. Next one, we're going to fix 1 and 3, and then we're going to slur 2 and 4. Next one, we're going to fix 1 and 2, and we're going to slur 3 and 4. Next one, we're going to fix 1 and 4, and we're going to slur 2 and 3. Next one, we're going to fix 2 and 4, and we're going to slur 1 and 3. Next one, we're going to fix 3 and 4, and we're going to slur 1 and 2. So you get the idea. We're going through all the different fixed finger combinations and slurring combinations. So of course, this is in a section of my book that goes through a lot of different slur exercises. The book, it starts with some really simple exercises. I mean, literally just like taking the guitar and going like this. You know, just like touching those strings. Learning the movement that is involved in the left hand in order to make a ascending slur or a hammer-on. Sometimes doing that without the right hand teaches students the best way to do that ascending slur. Same thing with descending slurs. Sometimes we just, without the right hand, we learn to just put our finger on that string and to actually do the movement. Because sometimes when you combine it with an exercise, it can be kind of confusing. So that's how the book approaches it. And you can watch all the previous videos I have on how to play slurs and all the little slur exercises that we use to build up to this one that we're talking about today. So it's important that you have a foundation for your slurs, so you learn how to play simple ones, and then you build upon it until you reach this exercise. And you have to do that in a progressive way so that you build a foundation of technique, and then you start building on top of that foundation and get to more difficult exercises, more complex exercises, but that you are able to maintain the high quality level slurs that you were able to do on the simple exercises. So it's always a tricky thing for students. They want to dive into the more difficult exercises, but you want to do those simple ones with an ultra high quality level, and then as you progress onto more difficult exercises, you want to keep that quality level high while making the exercises more difficult. And you really just can't do that by diving into a tough exercise. So make sure you've worked your way up with other slur exercises. Now, why are we doing these fixed finger things? Because it makes it so much more difficult, right? The reason is that we want to make sure that we're building upon our left hand alignment. You know, we work really hard in classical guitar to have a good left hand alignment. That means like knuckles parallel with the strings. We play on our fingertips. We're not at an angle. We're kind of like this, and these two fingers come in, these ones come relatively straight on. So we work so hard to kind of keep this nice hand position and all this alignment, but then we learn these complex techniques like slurs, and it throws off our alignment. Exercises like this one force you to keep your alignment with these two fingers while practicing your slurs. Also, you might notice that sometimes when you practice slurs, for example, if you do a 1-2 slur, these two fingers can go really astray. They can be way out of alignment. They can be like sticking straight up because of tension and other issues. That's something I see a lot. When we do fixed fingered exercises, everything has to be contained and compact and close to the strings because you literally are touching the strings with all your fingers. So there's no fingers wildly poking out. If we do that 1-2 slur, we're actually going to keep these two fingers on the guitar so that you can't be like this. Can't have those fingers way out there. They have to actually be part of the situation, part of the guitar technique. So all the regular tips that I have involving alignment and slurs will be involved here. So you can watch the previous videos I have on left-hand alignment and left-hand slurs, the beginner exercises, before doing this one. And then so everything still applies, all those curving your fingers, playing on the fingertips, all those things. So let's just go through each exercise one more time, and I'll point out a couple of things as we play through it. But like I said, these types of exercises, which you don't see in like examination systems, like the RCM, for example, you don't see these kinds of exercises because these are skill building exercises. So make sure that you're including this kind of learning activity in your practice because these are the things that make you better. Playing exam material, for example, the RCM material, is just a presentation of certain materials for exam purposes. It's not really a curriculum. It's not really the way that you improve. It's a presentation, which is a learning experience in itself, but it's different. So the first one was 1-4 slurs. So keeping these two fingers down, I like this one. This one feels pretty comfortable because this can really center your hand, and then you get to just focus on these two fingers. By the way, when I do pull-offs, I recommend that you pluck that string. When you learn to pluck downward like that, you'll get lots of clarity out of the string. If you're just lifting your finger off, it can be good in repertoire for that if you want a weak second note, but you don't get that clarity. So you might want to practice it both with a strong downward pluck and just a lift off. Different sound though, right? Different effect. Okay, next one, 1-3. This one feels a little bit more tense. If any of the stretches bother you, feel free to play the exercises up at the 5th fret, right? It's just a 1 finger per fret rule, and it's easier to play at the 5th fret, so by all means move the exercises up there. But we're fixing 1-3. Just make sure your 4th finger is aligned here. If your knuckle's too far away, your finger will be outstretched, which won't be any good. So you got to bring this knuckle in, which will force this finger to curve, which will give you more maneuverability. Next one, 1-2 is fixed. 3-4, same thing. Just get that knuckle in so your finger's curved. The most difficult one for me personally is this one, where 1 and 4 is fixed, and we're slurring 2 and 3. You know, these two fingers don't like to separate. They're not very good at separating like this way. And so it's pretty difficult to get it close to the fret and to get a nice downward pluck. Let me just go through it once and then I'll talk about how to break it down as a difficult one. So that's a little bit weaker for me. It's not quite as clean. So one thing you can do is first take off those fingers and make sure you can do the slur itself. So I feel very confident playing the exercise without the fixed fingers, so that's good. When I add the fixed fingers then, so if I know that I can do this, feels pretty good, then I just need to relax the hand, get these fingers down a little bit, and do the same thing. Still a little bit blurred though, so I might want to just practice just the hammer-on. Seems like the hammer-on's okay, so let's investigate further. I'll just do the pull-off. So that's where the problem is occurring. It's occurring on this finger combination here with the pull-off. So when you're practicing, you have to investigate in this way. You know, you go through all of them, you find one that's doesn't seem to be as confident as the others or as clear as the others, and then you investigate slowly, first by taking off the fixed fingers or whatever extra complicated thing that you're adding to the exercise. You take that off, you practice it, and you're like, yeah, that seems good. That seems good. Then you add the fixed fingers. That seems good. Not as strong on the descending slur. So now I know, next time I practice, or right now, that I should work on the 2-3 slur descending, the pull-off. And I should probably sit around for a while and make sure I've got all the right angles going until I clean that technique up a little bit. And you can't get frustrated, you know. This is an exercise that'll frustrate a lot of students because, you know, things are in the way and the fixed finger thing makes it harder. And you might say, like, why am I even doing this? I should just practice my slurs. Why am I adding fixed fingers? Well, because by investigating, I found out where my weakness really was, and it's some kind of alignment issue, and I need to work on that until I've improved it. And that's why you want big technique books with hundreds of exercises in them, like mine, but there's tons of other great ones, you know, like the Classical Guitar Bible is a great one as well. You know, with tons of exercises so that you play through a ton of exercises, discover where your weaknesses lie, and then you're going to really focus on those and work on them for days or weeks or months or years or however long it takes to correct the issue. And you're going to investigate by checking your guitar posture, checking your guitar angle, you know, bringing your knuckle in further so you can see if, like, oh, I just improved it just by like changing the angle of my guitar a little bit and investigating and experimenting. Suddenly I was able to do the descending slur much better. So, okay, I'll go through the rest, but I hope that little demonstration there just gave you some insight into how to approach problems in your practice sessions. Okay, let me finish. I dived away for a while. Fix 2-4, and we're going to practice slurring 1 and 3. Pretty good, pretty strong. My fourth finger is a little bit in the way, so I could just make sure that's curved a little bit more, but seems okay. Fix 3, last one, fix 3-4, and we're going to slur 1 and 2. It's always an experiment too when I have fixed fingers because that felt a little tense the first time, and my finger, you could see, is like a little strained. And then near the end though, I relaxed because I realized, like, oh, if I just bring that in a little bit more and relax, then I can do it without the tension. So that felt better that time. So, you know, there's always something you can explore, but you have to kind of like slow down. Don't just like whip through your technique routine because you think it's just a warm-up or something, but investigate it and try to find something that you can do a little bit better.